Yeah, that was a new, nice. That was a nice music. It was from, I think it's from Correggio. Radio Ingili. Radio Ingili. I think it is the gospel radio. Could guess that. How can you how can you seems to be a little bit off. Today, the topic seems to be, I wanted to ask a question which was absent in the fly. When you see a bird fly, I heard this once. But if you see a bird fly, and for a moment there is no air in this space which is flying, it will fall down. It's like with the aeroplanes. They go in a so fast way that they will not, it will not be a big hit down when it's out of air. When the space where the airplane is, but we experienced it many times. During the flight, it was falling. Without air you can't fly. And my friend in Israel, he told me that he was in a very critical situation. When he was swimming, he loved to swim, and he is more or less more in the water than outside. But he said something that shocked me, because he is a skilled swimmer. He have attended some competitions, and he was talking about swimming from Israel to Norway. And of course that can happen, and he doesn't need to go through all this custom control and border control. Maybe he can swim and collect some something from Israel, which is maybe the Torah scroll, maybe the whatever. It could be whatever he collected, but he told me that in an occasion that he was swimming, he was dropping, full drop in the water, and he had no chance to come up. Why? Because the water was without any air. The only thing that holds us up is the air. There is a little bit of noise here. The air in the water, would you believe that? Is there air in the water? Yeah, it is a lot of air in water. And coffee too. So we drop without even recognizing that we are lifted. We are lifted. The air that we that is surrounding us is holding us up. It's kind of an interesting phenomena that you can float in something that you wouldn't even reflect over. It's there. The ability to swim. It's not only your technique. It's the air in the water. Let me write it down so I get some impulse. Airlift. The air in the water. You would not reflect, but water is containing CO2 or H₂O. Let me just for security reason H₂O. I can call it H₂O. It's quite an interesting phenomena. I can Google let me write it down. It is quite interesting. Air is O2 and water is H₂O. Oxygen. Think O is oxygen. So it's oxygen in both water and air. Still there are two different elements. Water and air. But you see, why does it rain? It's vapor from water. It vaporizes into air. It cleans up the air. At the same time, when it rains, it cleans out the water. It recycle. It's kind of lifting. The air is the space that lift us up. It's a deep truth to that. My friend came into a space where there was very little air in the water, less than the average percentage. And in the air, in the sky, you have lack of air, lack of oxygen. It's just a space. I don't know what it contains, but it's kind of a space within the space that lacks this oxygen that lift, when it's out of that, it falls down. So what can we derive from this kind of particle, this kind of unimportant, it's just air blowing in the wind. It's out there, it's nothing. No, we regard air as less important, but the pollution of the air is quite important to mind the pollution. But I'm not going to talk so much about the pollution, yet it's something that we all hear about. But the water, when it rains, despite the toxicity in the air, I agree to that. But the circulation of water to vapor and rain is kind of a cleaning process in itself, and the pure fact that what is holding you up in the air and in the water, that gives you the push up, is the air in both elements. You see, if there is no oxygen, where there is no the harmonical substance, it will fall. It's like when you go without thoughts, you are empty. A lack of consciousness, lack of awareness. And it's a conscious thing. We will drop. We are in our consciousness mindset, unaware. We do things that we don't know. It's out of our reach. We don't take responsibility because we say, it's not me. That was not me. I heard that sometimes together with other people. They did something, said something that they excused themselves. That was not me. So what was that? If I did it, but claim I didn't do it, I think there is some kind of lack of awareness to yourself, lack of consciousness to yourself, because many people want to portray themselves in so beautiful way that they lack the ability to see themselves for whom they are. They are so self-preoccupied with their looks that they forget their acts. And if you give them a mirror to that, if you the other mirror to that, they will say it was not me, or they will own it and said, yes, that was me, and I take responsibility to it, and I have to ask you for forgiveness. And someone in the 80s hadn't this ability to say, I am sorry for it. They said, yes, I own it. I own what I did. And that was that. That was the mentality of some people that were so self-aware that they owned everything they did. I own it, but there were no excuse, no sorry, no bad feeling at all. It was just this. I own it. I own it. Why would you say such a thing, that you own it, and you can't even own the notion of that you are sorry to? If you hurt someone, that was in those occasions. I own it. I own that. And there were no excuse, no pardon. And I wonder what those parents were saying to their children. If their children did something wrong or bad or something like that, what would they say to their children growing up? Just own it. Don't forget about the other. We have to own it too. But someone hurt me, a child said to the mother, but someone hurted me. What can I do about it? Just own it. Own the hurt. I'm just baffled by the pure notion that it was done, and nothing to be sorry about. Who in their right mind can be in such a I can't say anything. For the first time, I'm lack of words. But I was going to more substantial concepts that we relate to the reality in form of matter. The matter. We see trees and everything like that. We see it's something very concrete, but we don't relate to air in the same way. It is there, of course, and I'm in the open space with air. But look, if the oxygen in the space you are wasn't there, how would that feel? So in some way, we have to say, it's all grace. It's all grace. We are beings in a space filled with grace. It's a nice way. And according to matter, we relate very much to matter. If we can have money, if we can have a car, if we can have houses, dogs, or whatever bad shit that is about. But if I can have love, if I can have feelings, sensitivities, if I can have emotions, if I can have a drive to my life, if I can have a purpose which is outside the matter, the realm of matter, if I can have a purpose in my life, that is different altogether. All this kind of matter. We have something very interesting in water and air. In air you have water. And in water you have air. That is brilliant. That is how brilliant everything is. And we can't live without the water in the air. But we can't live with only air, because it will, I don't know how the reaction would be, but it would be a bad reaction to that. So we live in a kind of a spiritual realm, because the water, that is substance, that is some kind of matter, is in the air, which we relate to as not so much matter. It's air, it's wind, it's very random, and in water you can bend water and so on, but it's more matter, more strong, resistant. In life, you have this. We relate to some say I relate only to things that can be proven. I relate only to what I see. But can we see water in the air? Can we see air in the water? No. We can't see it. And if the oxygen in the air was sucked up, like you have spaces in the higher levels without oxygen, you will be sucked and you will not live. You will die because you can't breathe. You can't breathe even if it's space. There is no oxygen. Oxygen is a substance. It's some kind of a matter. Very light matter. And we live by those. We have ideas. I don't think we can live without ideas or thoughts or reflections or something that we reflect over, contemplate. We can't live without those qualities that defines us as a human being. We can't. We will regard that as close to animal, without thoughts, without contemplations, without those kind of mirroring all the time. It's hard to get through to someone that is only in their own bubble. It's hard to talk to them. They are dead. You can't, even everything is in the human body. Everything is in the carcass of a human body. You wouldn't be able to communicate. Everything is there. Every chemical, every kind of chemical reactions is there. It's innate. It's the body that is functioning. But what is inside a human being that makes it live? Life is this kind of conundrum that I'm talking about here. H₂O. It's something in us that is kind of a spiritual entity. And I don't want to go so far into this because some say our being is just some it's not real. It's not, everything is not real. But I don't want to go so far. But we can't live without thoughts. We can't live. We are not robots. So in fact, if you say you relate only to what can be proven and what can be seen, you are in fact blind. Because what you see, what you feel, what you sense, that's what your instrument. The body is some kind of an instrument of sensing things that are outside. Even we have eyes. Don't believe what you see. Just the image that is transformed, changes, transformed in your conscious. And what you see is all about your awareness of your consciousness. You can't really penetrate into the real realm. If you have seen Matrix, is this kind of the movie Matrix? This kind of realm that is totally different than the real reality, that we think we are walking in the real realm. I heard once I heard about one that was about to die. He died in the car, in the ambulance, and he was a Jew. And while he was unconscious and dead, clinical dead, he saw the matrix of everything. He was able to see the constructional matrix, the constructional mathematics. I think he was a mathematician that could really see when he was driving through a tunnel. He could see the makeup, the building blocks in the soil and everything, and it was so beautiful. He said, as a secularist and atheist, I saw this kind of amazing building blocks that everything was about coming into this kind of matrix that makes up all the reality that we are in. So going into this H₂O, this is just the simplest term of that kind of matrix. That is just three indications. And there is much more to look into, and how this world, this reality of ours is about. So my friend, what you see is not only what you see. You have to see beneath, and when you grow up, you will learn that there is so much more than what you can prove, what you can see, what you can know. Is way off. So be blessed. Receive the grace of air and water. Okay, thank you for this, and I wish you shalom for today. Bye bye.